just for safety.
Sure. We're at Little Home on the Road, and they are starting to put our shock kit on our 2019 Spirit Deluxe. This is Terry, and he is going to take the wheel off, I think.
He is, and he can't find his socket right now.
Okay.
He had it in his hand just a moment ago.
Uh-oh, I know how that goes.
So if you're curious, we do take them off with this, but we don't put them on with this.
Okay. I assume you torque them on, right?
Yeah, we just do it exactly. It's too easy to damage them with an air gun.
Right.
We'll tighten them up with the lowest setting, but
Right.
it's not enough to, you have to torque them. I'll get this side bolted first, Trevor, before I give you the gun.
So Terry's working on one side and Trevor's working on the other side.
All at once.
All in one. They're going to get it done really quick.
Now, don't give our future customers any ideas. We don't always go fast.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. There you go. Yeah, it's harder than it looks.
Exactly. It's really difficult. Sometimes can take a very, very long time.
You're right.
And sometimes bolts don't want to thread.
So did you take off the bolts that like hold the axle?
Yeah, so what happens is the axle is bolted to a bracket.
Right.
And we do take the bolts off. And as long as we do it one at a time, the axle is usually pressed on so hard that it won't move.
It doesn't move.
Yeah, it doesn't move.
There you
If
go.
we try to do both of them at once, no guarantee.
Ah, okay.
So yeah, definitely no guarantee if we did it that way. So here we do use the air gun because we want it on. We definitely
Exactly. You want it on very tight.
It won't ever just fall off and go down the road, but you want it tight so there's no microscopic wiggle.
Right.
this is the stage where so two things are going to happen. One, a small plastic piece is going to likely break off that does nothing because they don't use it when they install. And the other is I'm about to hit it with a hammer.
Oh.
But I forgot the hammer.
That generally will break things.
Yeah. This is also the stage where we learn if it's going to go very badly or not.
Oh, okay.
So, if you have one of these that was extremely old and rusted, these bolts
They can break.
they can cause a heck of a problem.
Oh, yeah.
And the factory puts some on tight and some on loose, and you can't really tell.
Oh, right. Until you get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't. If they are loose, it doesn't hurt anything. It just all this does is hold the brake plate in place.
Oh. And so you remove those, and then one of your brackets attaches to those?
Exactly. So this becomes the anchor point for one side of the shock.
Oh,
the blue
okay.
plate we just put in, and this becomes the other end of the anchor.
Oh, okay.
It'll make sense in a minute.
So do those same bolts go back, or you replace them?
We put all new.
Oh, all new. Okay.
In fact, what's going back on is this, which looks a lot the same, but it's not.
Oh.
It's actually what's known as a cinch nut. It's a lock nut with the locking in the middle of the threads, not at one end or the other.
Oh.
So that's
Okay.
what we're putting on. And that is a 7/16 cinch nut, and it is one of the harder things to find.
I don't think I've seen a cinch nut before. I'm familiar with the nuts with the nylon.
Yeah, exactly, the nylock like that.
Right.
Yeah. And those cinch nuts are, most everything else, if you find you run out, you're like, oh, go to the hardware store, I'll get something, or we'll go to the local, we go to the local fasteners place.
Right.
But, so we get a better grade of stuff.
Right.
But that particular one, if you don't have them, you're not doing it that day.
So is the cinch nut, is it better?
Well, what happens is, that's a good question. Before we put this on, whether or not those nuts were loose or tight made no difference whatsoever. Now they do.
Right. I can see that.
So now we don't want them to be loose, so we use these cinch nuts. And because there's going to be a couple of threads that don't bury themselves into the nut, and so you get a nice strong nut and you still get the locking effect with the cinch nut.
Oh.
So that's why we use it.
I see.
And these are the ones where if I'm going to let loose a curse word, it's going to be while I'm tightening these.
Ah.
So they are always a pain in the arse to get to.
Now, because they have that kind of I guess it's like a messed up thread in the middle.
That's exactly right. It's basically a deformed thread, or in this case, it's threads that are narrower.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so it actually cinches on.
I see. It's not the same thread pattern as the regular nut.
You got it. Yeah. Ah, yes. The old can't find the parts.
That's
Can't find the tools.
that's the joy of
Yes.
working on things. Sounds like it's going okay.
Yeah, so this one's not... I can tell you already that we're going to get to the finish line without special problems on this one.
Well, there you go.
I saw Trevor loosening some nuts over there that were...
Yeah, mine came off good.
Yeah, so
We're in the clear.
his came off, so... This is where we put it on the lift and get out the angle grinder if it goes wrong.
Oh.
And maybe the welder. And super glue. I'm pretty sure super glue's been used.
Yeah.
This is definitely the part where if it goes wrong, the customer gets a call and like, yeah, I know you're on your way here.
Yeah, exactly.
Something happened.
Yeah, since I'm already here, you just turn around and say, "Oh, it kind of went south."
And then the worst for a timing standpoint is the customer didn't ask you to do anything to the brake, but you have a problem with these, and you're like, "Oh man, well hopefully it's easy." So you take
And you got to take it
take the
apart.
hub off, and as soon as you take the hub off, inevitably, of course, you're going to find something really, really wrong.
Correct.
So you're going to be like, well, thank God I found it for the customer, but darn!
Yes, yes, yes. I think ours is new enough where that's probably not
Yeah,
the problem.
it's usually ones that have lived on the beach their whole life.
Oh, right, right.
And you usually know you're in for trouble because there's a lot of other signs. There's
Right.
rusty bits everywhere. There's
Right.
other things that are falling off.
3/4 on there.
Oh, perfect. You made it. How did you know I needed that?
Here's the next step.
This is where the do-it-yourself installers will also run into a problem in that because these are lock nuts, it's easy to think you have it tight, but you don't.
Oh, yeah.
You can hear that sound.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah. That's when all of a sudden the hammer is hitting this, your frame, the whole
Right,
Casita.
right.
Yeah, you can definitely hear the difference.
You can,
Yeah.
yeah. Sure
Definitely
can.
hear. So, our little secret, we reuse 2 of your parts
Ah,
as a spacer. So,
oh.
and then it's always a mystery. Are you going to get the one with or without the sticker?
Yeah.
These are Monroe gas magnums.
Okay.
And the Monroe company randomly puts their Monroe stickers on here.
They randomly
Randomly put their stickers on.
do it? Interesting.
You cannot predict it.
Wow. You would think they'd want it on every one so people would know.
And they look beautiful with the stickers on.
Right.
It's a nice yellow sticker, you know?
Right.
Oh! And then sometimes this. Give it a little extra. Okay, so what happens here is depending on the age of the Casita,
Uh-huh.
we can tell the amount of wear that's on your axle by how this fits right here.
Right.
And so what'll happen is if it's brand new, we'll have to push this up. But eventually, like with just a year's worth of wear, it'll sit right here, which is its natural position.
Oh.
And so we'll just have to push the shock up just a little. And
So when they're brand new, the blue plate would have to come further down?
the blue plate hangs further down, or I should say the spring is springier.
Oh, so it's in a different location. I see,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause
I
this axle
see.
moves.
Right.
So
and
this-
so over time it compresses a little bit.
Yeah, so the way this works is you have the pivot here and this arm moves up or down.
Right. That makes sense.
And so this part will move up and down. This part is fixed, and there we get the shock action.
There you go.
So that's how we get that.
There you go.
He's got it.
So do you have a Casita yourself?
I don't. My parents do, or did, and they have a larger Escape now.
Oh, okay.
But they, the Casita is still, it wasn't. They wanted to go have the option to go full time.
Oh, okay.
And so they did that, but it wasn't. It wasn't a parting without tears. They wanted to.
Sure.
But currently, no, I don't have one. My camping needs require me to, or usually my travel requires me to take a different trailer that no one lives in. And with the Casita, I can't, double tow. I gotta tow one thing or another.
Right.
And then Trevor makes a lot of trips around the U.S. and he has a van that he's custom built that's
Okay.
liveaboard and all that.
Okay.
So
So how did you get into working on Casitas?
So my parents had one, and we started making some parts and pieces for them,
Okay.
and we made a lot of parts. And Larry Gamble at Little House Customs would buy them and install them.
Okay.
And when Larry retired, it just seemed a natural place for our products to go is to install them ourselves. So
I gotcha. So yeah. So
with that.
I gotcha. So it started just as a parts company, and then after he retired, it expanded into doing it yourself,
You got
doing
it.
the installations. Okay.
I mean, it's technically a little more complicated than that because it started as an engineering company.
Oh.
I still do engineering, and it was to engineer the parts. Then that's what. So it wasn't really a parts company per se. It was just engineering the parts, making the parts.
Sure.
And then we made them on a very limited basis because, hey, people want them.
Yes.
Similar to the shelf.
Yes.
It was like we thought, oh well, there'll be 5 of them out there that people are interested.
Right.
Not there'll be, oh my God, there's hundreds. that want
Right.
them. So,
Right.
We had no idea, and so my company that designs and builds things thought they were going to make 4, 5 or something.
Right.
And then basically we made enough to keep up with Larry Gamble's demand, and that was about all we could keep up with. So.
I gotcha.
All these parts are made local.
Okay.
So, and there's no, for Casitas, it's, there's a lot of people wanting them, but it's not large enough to warrant going to China to get something.
No.
Yeah,
no.
and plus, quality and all the other things that happen.
Right.
So as a result, you know, you're in that weird place where you can get them made, but you can't get a lot made because
Right.
you know, because you say, I want to order in bulk, and they're like, oh, how many units of 10,000 do you want?
You're right. You're right.
You're like, no, I'm thinking more like 100.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
They're like 100 is the same as making one.
Right, right, right.
So yeah, we have local Texas fabricators make these parts, and they do a great job.
Yep, that I understand that.
Yeah, that aspect makes
scaling of how many get made.
Yes, yeah, it's another business altogether.
Yes,
once
it
you start
is.
doing that. And when you make small batches, you don't know you're doing it, but you're controlling for small things. You're like, oh, that one needs a little extra weld right there. Oh, that one needs a little extra grind. Oh,
Right.
and you look at it, and you end up with an excellent quality product, and you don't think anything about it.
Right.
But now you make 100 of them, and well, 27 of them need this, and a different 32 need this. And,
Right.
well, you'll have a full-time job just doing quality assurance.
That
so
right.
How do you make them in quantity and quality?
Right.
And I'm uninterested in low quality. I think the RV industry is plagued with too many things that are already made cheaply, like water fixtures and things like that.
Yes.
So I'm not going to contribute to that pile.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
No, that's a worthwhile endeavor.
Yeah, I'm not going to be part of that.
Right.
I have no interest in anything that's low quality.
Right.
So I'm not actually going to tighten that down.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, thank you
Pretty
very much.
straightforward.
Yeah.
It helps to have a couple specialized tools, and
Sure,
you know,
it does.
and to have done it where you know where the problems you just avoided.
Right.
Or-
Right, exactly.
As it's certainly easy to run into a couple of problems.
Right. He's putting the lug nuts on in a low setting, and then they're going to torque all of the lug nuts.
You probably already know it's easy to over tighten these.
Yes. I actually do have a torque wrench.
Yeah, and it's this is one that most people think this is done to make sure they're tight enough. That's
Right.
incorrect. This is to make sure they're not too tight. So with the stamped metal wheel, you can go too tight, deform the little journal that the bolt goes through, and your wheel will wobble and cut the studs right off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
That's an interesting fact.
Yeah.
What
We've actually seen it happen.
what do you torque them to?
They're about 90 foot-pounds.
Okay.
The recommendation, I believe, is from 80 to 95, so it's fairly broad range.
Right.
And if someone looks up that fact, they may find I'm off by a couple.
Yeah.
We're right
yeah.
in the middle range. So.
Right.
Once is it done?
Well, thank you very much, guys. Thank you
Quite
for your
welcome.
help. Y'all did it really quickly, and it looks like a great job. And hopefully, we won't be bouncing as much as we
Yeah.
were previously.
Most people who've towed quite a bit report a feeling change in it.
Right.
And originally, it was designed for exactly what you're talking about, bouncing, stuff coming out of your cabinets and all that.
Right.
And even though I'm an engineer, I just never thought about the actual driving and your kind of side-to-side disturbances and all
Right.
that. But it actually helps quite a bit with those as
Oh,
well.
okay. Okay.
So it's the kind of thing, if you've never towed, you wouldn't notice. If
Right.
you had towed, you'll go, oh yeah, it's different.
Right.
You'll definitely feel
Right.
the difference.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thanks.